Basillca was the dream of Boniface Wimmer, and unfortunately he died 4 years before it could be built. But his successor, Archbishop Andrew, carried on the plans that Wimmer had approved. And it was for a Rhenish Romanesque church to be built here on a rise at Saint Vincent. They put it on a height, on a mountaintop, if you will, a small mountain, but it's nonetheless a rise, so that people can see it, and that it has a pride of place. It's the heart of everything that we do at Saint Vincent. This is not a Trappist monastery. This is an apostolic community, and that's what Wimmer wants from day one. He wants his monks out on the highways and byways, founding churches and schools and ministry. He wants them here at Saint Vincent teaching and preaching and building a community, both through their prayer and through their work. I mean, this is supposed to be something very different here at Saint Vincent. The first part of the Basilica was digging out the foundation, which took quite some time. It was a rainy March and April in 1891, and all of the children of the parish were given little silver-colored shovels and told to start digging to break ground for this church. Those little kids never forgot that, and they passed that memory on to their children, who passed it on to their children, and their children to this very day. There are families in the Basilica here who descend from those original groundbreakers as little children. And the monks, too, that assisted in building. So we always speak of this building as being sacred in many ways, and one of which is the monks, their blood, sweat, and tears built this. So our ancestors in the monastery, their fingerprints are all over this. Their vision of what things should look like is everywhere. Their splinters that they got in their fingers from their hard work. It's all embedded in this building. It's sacred, therefore, because it's monk-made. And so we have these two wonderful pieces of history that come down to us. The little children who broke the ground, and then the monks who built it. The abbot at the time assigned 75 brothers and hired a number of local craftsmen, and they labored for 14 years to build the basilica. All of the floor work is done in white Carrara marble with some variegated marble that every once in a while has a small design of a cross. In each piece of the floor, every 1 inch by 1 inch tile is hammered out individually, so it's cut to fit. You can imagine the time to put 1.3 million of these tiles. The crucifix is important in here too because it's carved by a monk in the 1870s. His name was Cosmas Wolff. He was a gifted wood carver. I think that it shows off who we are. The brick here at Saint Vincent, red brick, that's the clay of Westmoreland County when it's baked. I mean, that's homegrown, and that's important. So it's going to be this bright orange-red building that glows in the sunshine, because that's Saint Vincent. The fact that the monks were making 15,000 bricks a day sounds, to some people, as a made-up number. To other people, it doesn't register because we don't work with our hands as much as our ancestors did back in the 19th century. That shows what Saint Vincent is and has been all about, is going the extra mile. But it's quite a feat and quite a large amount of bricks. And not only to build a basilica, but to build Saint Vincent. This was Boniface Wimmer. I mean, that's his drive, always thinking of the future. And even from the earliest sets of rules, they were published in Italian and Polish and Slovak and Russian, German, so that all these immigrant men who were working here could understand and become part of a community and engage in mutual respect. I think that this church that we see is definitely the church that Wimmer wanted, and this is what he dreamed of, is that there be a jewel for the people of this area, who were all immigrants. They had nothing, but this gave them something. I think it has a lot to do with Saint Vincent. I think it would, if it were built somewhere else, it would have been a completely different building. It's a monastic church, which means that there's a community attached to it, a community that is not just a side of what happens at Saint Vincent, but very much in the center. They wanted to build a church that would last. They say that Benedictines think in terms of centuries. So Boniface Wimmer is noted, and he made a number of comments about that, thinking in terms of the long future. They wanted to build a church that wasn't going to fall down in 50 years, that it was going to be here in 100 years, and in 200 years, and in 300 years. And for as long as there are people at St. Vincent, that this church remain. It's going to be here for 500 years, we hope. For all of us to remember that this is the heart of St. Vincent.